Hello, everybody. Welcome and thank you for tuning in to Just Bleed Radio. Today is Sunday, May 13th, 2024, and this is the Weekend Roundup. Greetings. Welcome, one and all, to yet another edition of the Roundup, the podcast that masquerades as a radio show, bringing you the week's hottest MMA talking points in a nice, concise 60-minute format. That way you can listen and get the hell on with the rest of your goddamn day. We're still trucking along on the road to 50 bleeders, so please do pound the like and subscribe buttons, or you can pound sand. I'll be your MC of sorts today, conducting the train. Some people call me a staple. Some people call me a tryhard. I just hope you call me for a good time. My name's Lazybed. As per usual, I got my boys riding with me out the West Coast, best coast, with a tongue like a knife and enough pesticides to fumigate the entire UFC apex. It's our golden boy Austin, aka No Special.
Yes. How you doing? Yeah.
And over in jolly old England, where the beer is bubbly and the beans are bountiful, feline fact aficionado and the count of casuals, it's Danger Mouse in the house.
Hey guys, how you doing?
And of course, what the hell would we do but for the man on the ones and twos, the MacGyver of the Midwest? He's Chautry blessed, our producer, Super Dave Fairtex. So before we begin here, a quick happy Mother's Day to all the mamas out there. We did the UK version a couple months ago, which means it's only right we give them a shout on the American holiday as well. Not to be a downer, but condolences to those such as myself, whose moms are no longer with us, but still here in spirit. So from all the cast and crew here at Just Bleed Radio, a very happy Mother's Day to all.
Indeed.
Thank you, Lazy.
All right. So now another night of fights in the books, guys. Another card in the can. How was your weekends? Anything exciting?
Well, I have just explained off show how the drama of my weekend went yesterday. Well, the part of my weekend went yesterday. The fights were okay, I guess. I know we'll get around to doing a tally score for them later. But yeah, not a bad weekend. Not a particularly good one, but not a terrible one either. Sorry to bring the mood down. As you can see, I'm full of enthusiasm for this card.
Definitely got hammered on Friday. Regretted it. Saturday morning, struggled most of the day. Watched the fights live, thankfully. Good afternoon card. Can't really be disappointed in running around doing a little bit of errands here and there. Had to drop up some stuff for my mother. And then also got some stuff for the wife and the kids. Helped with some stuff, and looking forward to the rest of the day. Not too bad. Not too bad.
There you go. Nothing too out of the ordinary for me. Just ingested copious amounts of cannabis and consumed some combat sports. So pretty much the typical weekend. All right, so I guess with a heavy heart, I must say, I think our viewing audience deserves our very best on these shows. The dedicated hardcores, the day one bleeders, as we say, the perfect spellers of the world. They really want the inside scoop and the hard-hitting journalism from JBR. So I would be remiss if I failed to mention the ongoing controversy between me and one Jed Meshew of MMA fighting. The very Jed Meshew who has blatantly and deliberately attempted to steal my intellectual property, my brainchild. I'm talking, of course, about the forthcoming summer blockbuster, Gator Quake. I simply and very casually mentioned these projects in the live chat, and thanks to a certain podcaster, Jose Youngs, old Jedediah caught wind of my brilliance and thought it would be an ideal time for him to pounce on my creation, going as far as to have the nerve to offer me, the mastermind of this project, a cut of the royalties. Now, Jed, sir, as a man of the law, you of all people ought to know this is going to cause some friction. It's a conflict of interest. So while I'm more than willing to bring you on as an advisor or even a financial backer, this proposal of you, quote, cutting me in is just not going to work for me and my legal team. So to summarize, Mr. Michu, while I appreciate your passion and enthusiasm towards this endeavor, I'm going to need you to tamper down your presumed role in the production of this film. Should you wish to further discuss business with me and the boys here, you can reach us on Just Bleed Radio every Sunday. So please do leave a comment and reach out to us, and I'd be more than willing to hear your business proposal.
Yeah, can confirm that is Lazy's idea. I was there when he broached it. I will come to court and act as witness.
It's just Jed's face when it was mentioned on the podcast was fucking it's just like, what do you mean? This is my idea. Like, no, sir, I believe you are mistaken.
So now multiple occasions now he's mentioned cutting me in on this little project. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, bud? Anything that comes to this is my fucking deal. He wants to talk about casting. Well, this isn't an MMA movie. Jed, sir, this is most certainly an MMA movie. Okay?
Yes.
I will cast whoever I wish. And right now, the leading candidate for the head man is one Carlos Ulberg, the beautiful, beautiful man from down under.
Yes. There's a whole cast of characters you could probably take from MMA that would probably jump at the opportunity. They don't need to be great actors. We just need them to be funny.
Exactly. This is a straight to streaming movie. This isn't. We're not taking this to the Cannes Film Festival here.
Oh yeah. Well, what was the old ones where it's like the straight to DVD?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I have pledged my first $1 already to the GoFundMe for this crowd. So
Same. I shall donate as well.
The people are clamoring for Gatorquake. Everybody wants it.
They do. Hey, if they can make 17 Sharknadoes, I believe Gatorquake deserves one.
Fuck yeah! All right. I guess that's about all we got to say on that topic. Get that out of the way there. Those the legalities of the matter here. Okay, so with that, let's get into the meat of last night. UFC on ESPN 56, live from the Enterprise Center in St. Louis, Missouri. Only the second time in the 30-plus years of the promotion that they visited St. Louis, the last being in 2018. Of course, we were in for another Black Beast main event. So let's go ahead and get into this. Derek Lewis secures the TKO victory over Rodrigo Nascimento, 49 seconds into round 3. It looked like we were well on our way to another snoozer Black Beast main event, but early in round 3, the tides turned and the scrotum burned. I'm talking hot balls and heavy hands. Another finish for the Beast and another cup chucked into the crowd, which reminds me to shout out Telemundo St. Louis reporter Raul Herrera for not only retrieving the cup, but apparently getting Dana to sign it.
yeah, I saw that.
Anyways, a main event W for Lewis.
Some balls to ask Dana to sign a cup.
I like that. Another main event win for Lewis. What did you guys think of this fight? Austin, we'll go ahead and we'll go to you first on this one.
Honestly, I was not looking at Lewis and thinking that he had yeah, I don't know. That's weird because Lewis has these moments where he could just show up and just dominate whoever's in front of him, and then there's moments where he just kind of looks like ass, and he'll look like ass until he pulls out a miracle from his ass, or or his shorts, so to speak. So I had picked Rodrigo Nascimento, and I regretted it the night of. Matter of fact, I think I picked wrong on the entirety of the main card, and I also lost the main event picks as well. So multiple losses on multiple levels for me this weekend. So
I was going to roast you about that a bit, but you've brought it up, so I don't have to.
I know you were, you son of a bitch. But no, looking at Lewis, he looked like the old Lewis that we already know. He's heavy-handed, has moments of athleticism, and he looked for takedowns right off the bat, and that was kind of nice to see a more well-rounded Derek Lewis than we were used to. Always kind of like, okay, Derek Lewis is either gonna be sloppy and then get the heavy hands going and then come out with a win after getting his ass kicked for 25 plus minutes, or he's gonna just knock him dead in the first couple of rounds, and that's ended up what being came to play. Nascimento just looked like he wasn't ready for the power, and that's the thing. You should always he shrugged a decent amount of the power off. Played that guard game a little too close, and when he was clinching with Lewis, he basically gave Lewis opportunities to stay in the fight. And whenever he took him down, again, jiu-jitsu does not exist for Derek Lewis because he just pushed him off as if nothing was there and would immediately stand up as if it was not an issue. But, good for Lewis. He got a win. Main event again. He's a dependable main event for the UFC, especially when they need to go on the road for fight nights. He's not a guy you put in the Apex. He is a guy that you put in the co-main or in the main of a fight night, and he'll sell because that's what he's supposed to do. Don't know what you do with him now. You just need to throw him against another heavyweight so he can get another win. He's healthy now, so that's great. Just keep him busy. We don't need him to fight another ranked guy necessarily, but there's not a whole lot you could choose because as soon as he faces someone who's like higher ranked, he loses. So it's neither here nor there. So good for Lewis, but typical heavyweight main event.
Yeah, as I did say, I did manage to lose all my notes earlier, so I'm flying off going off the top of the head here. Yeah, it was kind of a classic Derek Lewis fight. To be honest, I fell asleep last night. I think it was after the Woodson Caceres fight, and I woke up just as this fight was starting. So I watched the first 2 rounds, and I was like, should I just go to bed here, or what? Am I wasting my time? And then Lewis managed to get the knockout 49 seconds, or with 49 seconds left of round 3. Yeah, very Derek Lewis kind of fight. I thought he was just going to get held down, and Nascimento didn't seem to be doing anything too threatening. I think he might have had a vague chance at a submission once or twice, and then Derek just laid there and got up. I know his corner seemed to be talking about him, or he'd talk about doing some different stuff, and I can only presume that was trying to get a trip and start the wrestling himself, because he did throw a couple of trips. I think he actually had one successful, but his corner were telling him, don't pack in the Roman Greco crap, just go back to striking. You can knock this guy out. And sure enough, he went back. He only clipped him on the top of the head, so it shows you how much power Lewis has, because that really rocked him. And then he swarmed in and finished him off. And then, of course, we had the obligatory cup going into the audience, shorts coming off. He mooned the audience at one point. Got great action from the audience there. They were cheering and all that. I wonder if that one will make it to MMA media at some point. There has to be someone with a camera there. Not that I particularly want to see Derek Lewis's ass, but it is what it is. That's what we saw. So yeah, a very heavyweighty Derek Lewis fight. Can't say very much more. You never know with Derek. He can fight get a knockout in the first 20 seconds with a flying knee or something, and then he can just lay down and get laid on for 5 rounds and lose, or he can get up in the last 5 minutes and knock somebody out just because of the sheer power he has. At least he showed his power carried to round 3, and he's not dead after 2 rounds. So I guess that's a pro you can say out of it. But yeah, not much else to say.
It was a good, nice little surprising wrinkle to see him add in those little trip takedowns. I definitely didn't see it coming, and when he did land the one, I was sitting there and I popped. I was like, "Oh my god, Derek Lewis!" Like, what the fuck? Never seen this before. But yeah, I'd like to give him some props because I didn't know, but apparently during the was his last fight against Almeida?
Jailton, it's Jailton Almeida in Brazil.
Yeah. I had no clue that during that fight, apparently, he was dealing with the 2 torn shoulders and apparently a double ear infection. Yeah. Like, God damn, bro, that's fucking rough. Yeah. So
loaded up on those antibiotics.
Yeah. So to come in there at 39 years of age, which isn't exactly old in the heavyweight division, but it's still generally old in combat sports. Looked good. He said he felt good. Fighters always say that they feel like they're in the best shape of their lives, but kind of believed him. He looked like he was, maybe feeling physically better than he has in a long time. So, shout out to the Black Beast on that. Also, to touch back on that reporter that managed to secure Derek Lewis's cup, he did say that it smelled clean, it smelled fresh.
I'm
This is
not,
like
yeah, okay, that's probably enough there. Who needs
Yeah,
to know
yeah.
that?
I guess that means he sniffed it. I don't
If there'd been liquid in it, would you have tested it, see if it was salty?
know.
Please.
So,
I'm curious where Derek goes after this. Does he get another crack at the top 10? Has he
that
fought
was actually.
Has he fought Taito Ivasa yet?
yeah, he's already fought him and lost.
Oh, okay. I guess you could have a rematch.
Yeah,
No.
my closing thing on this was going to be like, are we on the verge of a Lewis retirement? Because he did take the gloves off in the cage last night. Of course, he took off his shorts as well. But when he took off the gloves, I had a brief moment where I was like, is it? Could it be? So, what do you guys think? Are we on the verge of a Lewis retirement, or does he have a couple more years left in him?
I think he's got a couple more years. He's clearly happy doing it. He gets paid a good purse. We know the UFC looks after him just because he's reliable as always. It's kind of one of those things. If you're a good team sport for the UFC, they will sometimes look after you. I'll say not always, but sometimes. And Derek obviously likes owning his fast cars. He's got a couple of Lamborghinis. I think Sanko into intimated that he might have a Ferrari on the way. So,
Oh,
yeah, I guess if Derek wants to keep buying posh cars, then he'll have to keep fighting. I guess if you have to do 15, 25 minutes of fighting and at the end of it you get a nice Lamborghini, that's probably not a bad night's pay, really, is it? I'd take it.
yeah, probably.
I, I I think he's gonna do the Daniel Cormier thing, where Daniel set a hard date for himself at 40, and he's still in his, not a prime, but he's still in his athletic, capable self. So he's gonna keep going, not until the wheels fall off, I don't think, but as close as he is, he's gonna get to, you know, wearing out his welcome, I think. Um, I'm gonna say he fights one more year, maybe two, and we'll see how his next fight looks. Because yes, he is 39, but like that's like your second half life at heavyweight.
Hmm.
You know, we call 30-year-olds babies in heavyweight, and you know, it's not out of the question that he can make at least one more run. But he just needs repetition right now. So like you had said, if only he was healthy in that Almeida fight, maybe he could have pulled an upset. But but let's just see and get him another win first. I would say give him a rematch with Pavlovich. That's what I would do. But I I don't know what to do with Tai Tuivasa in that sense. I know DM had mentioned it. I don't know if I want to see that fight for Tai, just because Tai's on a 4-fight losing streak. Derek has at least got a win. Let's just give Tai to beat KFC, and we'll keep Derek Lewis against lower ranked heavyweights.
Well,
Get a
Pavlovich
get
is
a.
hardly lower ranked. I mean, he's lower ranked than Derek, but he's number 3 ranked.
I mean,
A- he's
I don't.
lined up to fight Volkov next. So
Oh, damn it! That is a fight. Okay, never mind. I assumed for some reason Pavlovich would have been down lower. That's why I was thinking that.
no.
Okay, never mind then. Okay. Well, I mean, I keep him at the Nascimento level. Whatever rank Nascimento was, keep him at that rank. Like nothing up in the top
Well,
10.
Nascimento's ranked 15th and Derek is ranked 12th. So he's already
Yeah,
above his
exactly.
rank.
There you go. Perfect. That's within that 5 rank range. Let
Okay, then
keep him in that.
you're
Yeah,
leaving in Josino Rosenstruck. Then that's
that's
the
fine.
fight for
That's
him. So he did.
we should have that fight anyways. He was there in the crowd that night.
Yeah. Okay then. There we
Yeah.
go.
See, there you go. We did it. We solved it. We did it.
Yeah. Listen up, Hunter and Dana. The boys at JBR have sorted your next fight for you.
Yeah. Honestly, we should just get paid for being rankings guys, or just fucking matchmakers. It's not like they're doing their jobs anyways.
Shit, we should be getting paid for something around here. Fuck. Last thing I'll say here is a fun matchup, just because it came into the conversation and it popped into my head. Two guys coming off losses. It would be a fun stand-up affair. Tai Tuivasa versus Robelis to Spain.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Potentially.
That
Yeah.
would be a fun one. And then last thing that I'll mention also, he brought it up in the post fight, and Dana mentioned it also. Derek Lewis is talking about potentially dabbling in the WWE after his fight career, and I
Yeah.
think he'd be a perfect fit for that. If there's any guy that's got the personality for a John pro wrestling, it's the Black Beast.
Yeah. No, they're.
I'll have to take your word for it, seeing as I know nothing about WWE because I'm an adult.
Oh wow! You can say.
At the
Come
very least,
on.
there's money to be made in the WWE for Lewis. I would say that much.
Yeah.
If it brings him a check, go for it. I don't have to watch it, so yeah, whatever.
Another Lamborghini. Fuck it.
Yeah. Why not?
All right, we're gonna move this on to the co-main event. St. Louis's own Joaquin Buckley took on Uzbek veteran Nursultan Ruzaboyev in a light heavyweight tussle. Buckley called for this spot at the 300 presser, and he got his wish. A hometown hoedown against the 6'5" Ruzaboyev. Unanimous decision victory for Numansa, even receiving a 30-26 scorecard from one of the judges. Any thoughts on this one, guys, and inklings on what might be next for Buckley at 170?
I'll jump in quickly.
Yeah, I was going to say, DM, we'll hand this one over to you.
Yeah. We'll let Austin actually give some facts. I'll just talk some bollocks. Yeah, I was quite surprised with this one. I picked Ruziboyev. I'm confused about one of the cards. I've got the refs cards open here, and one of the refs scored it 29-27. So I'm confused there. I'm not sure how Buckley ended up with a 29 on that.
Yeah,
I guess it does make sense. Must have scored him a 10 for one round, 10-8 obviously for one of the others, and then given him a 9. Yeah, that makes 27. Okay, yeah, I'm still confused how he gave. I'm still confused how he gave Ruziboyev a round. To be honest,
Yeah.
I saw it clearly for Buckley all the way through. Ruziboyev just not really doing anything, and when he did try and step forward, that was giving the opportunities to Buckley. It was coming in, getting the takedowns. I think he had 3 or 4 takedowns in this fight, and he's never had a takedown ever in the UFC prior to this. So congratulations him on bursting his cherry on that one. Buckley just looked very controlling. He looked smooth, didn't seem to have any problems. As I said, whenever Ruziboyev tried to push the action, Buckley would step in, grab. I think he tried a couple of leaping knees, and each time he did it, Buckley just caught him kind of in the air, then threw him on the floor. It was very impressive, in physicality, if nothing else. Probably technique as well, but I'm not a wrestler, so I can't really comment too much on that. Yeah, just a good, solid round performance from Buckley. Never looked like he was losing. I'm not really sure he ever looked like finishing it either, but he clearly dominated. Like I said, I'm surprised one judge gave me a round, but what the hell, it is what it is on that case. A 10-8 for one of the rounds doesn't seem unfair to me. So yeah, that's really all I can say. I'm not sure what's up for Buckley next. He's one of those fighters that I like sometimes, and then I lose interest in him because he seems to come back with very different performances sometimes. Sometimes he's good, sometimes he's very average. Obviously, he has that one incredible highlight kick KO. I forget the name of the guy he flattened.
It was
Songanai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, that guy's on his highlight reel for the rest of his life. But yeah, decent performance from Buckley, but not a particularly exciting one. Not for me anyway. So,
He does have a sort of a kind of polarizing personality. Like it seems like he's got a bit of like I don't know. I don't want to call him bipolar, but he's got 2 very distinct personalities. But yeah, so Austin, what do you think? What do you think about the performance, and any idea what might be next?
Austin comes in, if I can just say, fuck Buckley for calling out Conor McGregor on his.
Oh, I have a take on that, so I'll mention that.
There you go. I'll pass it to Austin.
First off, Lazy, it was at 170. I want to say, funny thing about this at 170 pounds was that Ruziboyev, is that how you say it?
Ruziboyev. It's got
Ruziboyev.
like Movloev. He's got
Yeah.
that same. pronunciation in the middle of it.
He had jumped down from middleweight
Mm-hmm.
to make this fight, and he looked good. I just don't understand what the need was to make welterweight. Like, he looked good at middleweight, even though his two performances were short. So I'm confused as to why he needed to do that, especially him being 6'5". If he's going to be going down to a wrestler heavy bracket in welterweight, or people who know how to grapple at a bare minimum, that move kind of confused me. And then knowingly picking Buckley, or I shouldn't say that they picked Buckley. Buckley had been working on his ground game as a welterweight and a little bit at middleweight prior to this. After being kind of wobbled a couple of times at middleweight and being, against much bigger guys who can strike, he tends to rely on the grappling more often than not. I mean, in his 3 fights at welterweight, I believe this is his 4th fight at welterweight. Is that correct?
Numansa?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, 4th fight.
Yeah, he's basically implemented a well-rounded striking game that basically is supplemented by his grappling. So, and he's got a very basic wrestling game. What you would call it is more of the blast style. Like, he's just going to blitz you, and it's not going to be super fancy. A basic double leg, a basic lift up, or a slam. He's not working on too many trips, but he's working on easy entries and physicality in the takedowns, which is easier to do when you are also an athlete. That's basically what we saw. And weird thing for me is that Ruzivaev is from a region of the world which prides itself on the grappling aspect. And yes, they also have a decent amount of strikers out of that region. It's just interesting to me how he kind of ignored a lot of the grappling and was just okay kind of being taken down, especially since he was looking for heavy combinations and heavy strikes. Him being 6'5", you would think wrestling would be a great backup to supplement his striking. But that wasn't even the case. He literally was just walking into takedowns. And most of them seemed fairly easy. So that was just kind of confusing to me. But that's neither here nor there. easy 30-27 for me, for Buckley. And the thing that I found funny is that this is also the fight where I believe it was Herzog that was letting those kicks kind of fly off when he had Ruzivaev on his back. And those kicks were just coming downward at a weird axe angle off of his back. We're still not sure. Like, those are technically illegal, but it's not like they were doing anything. Like, as soon as the neck got hit, Buckley kind of fainted a little bit and, reacted. The ref stops it, calls it out, gives him a, time and whatnot. But it's just weird. It was just a kind of a weird fight. But at the end of the day, Buckley getting the win in his hometown, going from shouting out I can't remember if it was his mother or a relative that he was talking to, or
Grandma.
just okay, it was his grandma, right? Okay, yeah. And saying how she has ALS and whatnot, and then having this face turn, added, love. The crowd loves him. I'm actually cheering for him. Like, oh yeah, hell yeah. The stepson's watching. He's all, hell yeah, that guy's he's so cool. And then he goes and turns into a fucking madman and says, your mom's a hoe. Your great granddaddy's a hoe. Your great granddaddy's a hoe. And it's like, what are we doing? You had the crowd bleeding out of your heads. What are we doing here, my guy? What? Like, calling out Conor, okay, I'm not going to be mad at it. Conor's coming back at 170 pounds. I would rather watch that fight with him and Numansa than I would Michael Chandler and Conor, honestly, because that one would be at least a little bit more fun to watch. We'll see what, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was just weird. It was just weird to me because then he does that, and then I think it was at that moment where Bisping was trying to take the mic from him.
Yeah.
He's physically trying to pull it, and he's pulling it back on him. And it's just interesting overall. Just interesting.
That was kind of like what I was saying about him having this weird sort of like bipolar personality, because he goes from like 1 minute, praising his grandmother and her trials and tribulations and everything she's been through and how he takes inspiration from it, and the next minute he's calling McGregor a hoe. So it's like, boom, from one side to the other real quick. Also, to touch on what you mentioned about Ruzivaev dropping down to 170 for this fight, I don't really understand it either. I think, if I'm not mistaken, this was just like a one-off. I don't think he intends to stay at 170. He just kind of came down for this one fight, a one-off fight with Buckley, and while he did look, surprisingly made the weight and didn't look too terrible, uh, I don't really see the sense in it because you took an L and it's not even your preferred division. So whatever, it's going to be what it's going to be.
Yeah,
Um,
judging by that performance, he needs to go back up to middleweight.
yeah, I agree. Somebody had mentioned in one of the chats that I was in prior to this card that
Buckley actually thought he might be taller than 6'5" because
yeah,
he's got a mate who's 6'5", and he said he's taller than him. So,
yep,
or his
yep.
mate's 6'7", and they're similar heights.
Yeah,
So yeah,
somebody had mentioned in one of the chats prior to this card that all uh, all of Ruzaboyev's previous fights at welterweight he lost, or like he lost like 6 fights at welterweight, something like that. Like so, basically he hasn't had a strong run at welterweight, and you're doing good at middleweight. So I don't really see the sense in temporarily dropping down just for this one fight. But yeah, a couple of points. The only points I really wanted to make on this was the Numanza call of McGregor. He did say afterwards at the post-fight desk that he really only did that for publicity. He knew that wasn't a likely thing that this fight was actually going to get made. But if you call McGregor's name, even if he doesn't reply to you, just the mere mention of him is good for clicks and good for traction online. And if he does mention you and tweet back at you, you're really in for some surging numbers on your socials. But
yeah, it's like dissing Eminem.
Yeah. Even if you don't think you're going to get a response, you shoot for the king. But he did mention that realistically, the fight he would actually want would be a Gilbert Burns fight, and I think that would make sense.
Yeah, especially since Burns just lost his last fight against another contender.
And then, but of course, before we move on from this topic, I got to mention it. Even though Danger Mouse already expressed his hate for pro wrestling, Numanza, of course, he ran into the crowd after his victory and he hugged WWE superstar and future Hall of Famer, second generation wrestler, Randy Orton, the Viper, the Apex Predator, a fellow resident of St. Louis. So I'm sure he is familiar with Orton and his work. So shout out to Randy Orton.
Yeah, that dude's chill. Like, he's one of the chiller pro wrestlers that you can remember in a while. I haven't kept up with wrestling as of late, but Randy Orton was one of those guys you actually tuned in to watch because he was entertaining to watch.
And I think, like, even if you don't know pro wrestling, everybody knows the RKO out of nowhere memes.
Yeah.
Just randomly coming into pictures and RKOing people.
Look how he's behind you.
Okay. Moving on to our next topic of the day. Let's go ahead and do a little personal selection of our favorite fight of the night. Which one of these fisticuff fandangos got your blood pumping? Any standout performances in your eyes? Anybody, feel free to just go ahead and jump in here.
I'll jump in if
okay,
Oscar
yeah, go
doesn't,
ahead.
Let's take it. I guess there's a couple that I quite liked. Obviously, there was a brilliant KO, but we might get onto that in a bit. But that wasn't a long enough fight for it to be any kind of fight of the night. But if I'm picking the fights I like, they're coming from the preliminary card, not from the main card.
Mm-hmm.
I would say the fight of the night for me, Trey Waters defeats Billy Goff by a unanimous decision.
God damn it, Mouse.
That has to be the fight of the night. But the other one that I really liked, but mainly I would say not for the action necessarily, but for the end result, would be Veronica Hardy beating JJ Aldrich, unanimous decision 29-28. As I said before, there are not many Argentinians I will support because, I'm English and Falklands Islands and all that good stuff. But Veronica Hardy gets a pass. She's the one Argentinian I will shout for, being Dan Hardy's wife. So yeah, great for Veronica Hardy. I believe that's 4 wins in a row she's had now in the UFC. So yeah, onwards and upwards for her. I know everyone was doubting her. They thought Aldrich might be a bit strong for her, but she handled her very easily. Striking was on a level above Aldrich's.
Yes.
Didn't really have a problem shucking the grapples off with her. I can't remember all the details of the fight. As I said, lost most of my notes. But yeah, great performance by V. And
She
yeah,
did look. She looked really good. She looked sharp and she looked
Mhm.
quick and strong too. Her like I wasn't
Yeah,
expecting her striking to have the impact that it did.
yeah, she'd be doing that strength and conditioning coach, sure. But yeah, Trey Waters, Billy Goff, fight of the night without a shadow of a doubt. Absolute slobber knocker. End of the first round. I think it was Goff pointed at the floor, and they just went. They might not even have pointed at the floor. I don't remember. They just went full. Max Holloway swinging punches at each other. I thought they were both going to be dead by the second round. I thought they were both gassed out, but they gave us a good fight across the whole way. No argument of the decision. I know some people might have, but yeah, good fight. Fight of the night for me, and that's it.
I'll double down on what he said about the fight of the night, because that fight was literally like the crowd starter for everything. Like these two guys are just coming in. Trey Waters looks like he's a cool, collected cat, and Billy Goff just looks like that dude who just showed up at the bar and he's like, "I'm ready to fight, coach." Yeah, and it was a fun fight. Regional level styles, but fun fight. You can't be mad at Derek Waters for getting clipped, because he was giving Goff everything he had, and Goff was still in the fight regardless of how he was getting clipped, and giving hell back to Waters. It's just Waters was the better fighter on the night. Fun. That's the one you're watching in the bar, and you're like, yeah, we're all watching. Let's go. Yeah. Everyone's having a good time. For me, my other fight of the night was my. Other than that one, I would say Chase Super versus Slavaklaus or Vyacheslav Boroshev. I I don't know what happened to Hooper, but maybe he's a grown ass man now. And my God, did he fucking clip Boroshev and then just decided to beat the fuck out of him for fucking 2.5 rounds?
Yeah.
Like, he's a grown ass man handling these other grown ass men, but he still looks like a child, So it's deceptive. I
He really
that's the,
has come. He has come into his own the last few fights. Like his man strength is starting to appear.
Yeah, that could be
yeah.
it.
I think that's the thing too. It's also at 155, because he was trying to make that 45 work, and that definitely is not the case. Him being at 55, filling out, letting his body fill out naturally. I think he's stepped into his own. He looks good. Honestly, his striking still needs more work. I would say that his grappling, top notch. Honestly, I can't even find any faults. Like, he was giving Bodashev moments and then taking advantage of those moments. Like, that's what you need to do in this division. You have to be a grappler and a striker, and mix the two. You cannot choose one or the other and then hope the one works. He's learning to be a lightweight, and honestly, I want to see him continue to do so. Keep feeding him lower level guys. Let him hone his skill. There's no need to rush this dude. This dude is a prospect still, and he is a prospect that's worth paying attention to.
Can I just jump in for 2 seconds? I need to stop Daz dead wronging me. Veronica Hardy's only 3-0 in the UFC.
Good catch. Yeah, Hooper. Like you were saying, Austin, 24 years old. I mean, he's been in the UFC since he was like 19 or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, just really coming into his own at 155, filling out the body, letting himself build some strength that he wasn't allowing himself to accumulate down at 145. So yeah, happy to see that. Surprisingly though, this card, while not the greatest card on paper or in totality, maybe afterwards looking at it, it did have its moments. It had a lot of surprisingly good moments. Of course, I got to triple down on it and say fight of the night: Trey Waters versus Billy Ray Goff. Just an absolute fucking war. I don't know how you could pick anything other than that one for the fight of the night. My personal favorite, though, favorite moment of the night was the Rebovic's devastating KO. Yeah. Oh God, a lot of people like McKinney. He's a bit of a fan favorite. He's got a personality and presence on social media, but the guy is get or get got. And if it's a McKinney fight, either he's taking somebody out in the first or he's getting fucking wiped out himself. And that him smiling and smirking against the cage after the KO, like he had that smile just stuck on his face. Oh my God, it was creepy but awesome. And then, of course, like you guys mentioned too, the Hooper versus Slava Claus fight, another great scrap. Some really good high level scramble moments on the ground from Hooper there. At one point, he had him in like a inverted triangle, and he was going for the heel hook at the same time. It was fucking awesome, too, like a double submission. And then, of course, the egg on Slava's fucking head afterwards. There's some pictures of that going around. Dude had a fucking ostrich egg on his head.
Yeah, that was surprising, honestly.
Uh, and then I can't go any further without mentioning the obliteration of Alonzo Manifield by Carlos Olberg.
Yeah.
Oh,
Day
yeah,
or
yeah.
night. I don't care what Dana says. That was it.
No, Reavrovich, bro. Come on. It was great. It was light heavyweight fight, but Reavrovich did the head kick thing. I find that one a lot more entertaining, to be honest.
I like that totally. But the Oldberg one, he didn't even hit him with a punch. He clubbed him with the inside of his right hand. If you go back and watch it in slow motion, which I did this afternoon several times, he glances one blow, I think, just off the top of his head, kind of thing, and then when he reeled back round, I think Menendez might have spun back around, and he comes in and he clubs him on the side of the ear, kind of slightly above the ear, with his right hand, and that's what starts it all over. Then he just goes down. Obviously, it
That's
hits the
yeah,
neck and that's
yeah.
it.
It is Alonzo Manifield. He kind of walks into shit. I mean, he was on a winning
Walk
streak,
into
but
that.
still, yeah.
Yeah, shout out Pat Barry in Manifield's corner again.
Yeah, I noticed that.
But yeah, but Black Jag definitely being casted to play the lead role in the Gator Quake movie. So, and then
Can I just bring one more fight up before
sure.
Lazy takes wherever he's going to go? Tabitha Ritchie beats Tisha Pennington, the former Tiny Tornado Tisha Torres, who's now ruined her name by adopting her wives.
Okay.
I thought Pennington did enough to win this one.
I did too.
I know
Yeah.
round two there was a lot of Richie held her down for a lot, but there was about 40 seconds of standing at the end of the round, and Tisha started doing damage, and that was enough for me to snatch that round from Tabitha Ritchie. But it didn't.
What'd you score it? What'd you score it? Was it all three or?
It was a close fight. I could have given. In fact, I think I would have given Richie the third round, but I was definitely happy giving Tisha the first two rounds.
Yeah, I was gonna say Tisha won the first two in my book, and I just kind of found it weird that we're awarding the clinch game against the fence when there's no damage being done. That was weird to me.
Yeah.
It did seem a bit like he sort of giving the nod to the more popular fighter, maybe.
Oh, that fucking that's bullshit.
I was doubly gutted because I was the only person on the Discord that picked Tisha for this one.
Oh wow.
She definitely even if she doesn't get the official win on her record, she deserves a lot of credit to come in there after giving birth and everything
Being
that
off
she
for like 2 years. Yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say everything that she has probably been through over the last 2 years. Come in there and put up a hell of a fucking fight against somebody who's been active during the whole time she's been away.
Yeah.
Just my last honorable mention before we wrap up the coverage on the card. I gotta give a quick shout out to what the fuck is his name? The proper pronunciation, Mateusz Rombetsky, for having an allergic reaction in the octagon to either a stray peanut or a bee sting. I'm not sure which one, but he was definitely in need of his fucking EpiPen, and there was nobody around to give it to him. That guy was swolled up like a fucking I don't even know.
Yeah. Yeah, if Fajeda's gloves were laced with something, or God forbid, I don't know, that like out of nowhere he just got the 90 things.
They were laced with kinetic energy. That's what they were laced with.
He dipped his gloves into shellfish before the fight. Oh god! But yeah, the perfect opportunity here for Dave to insert the picture of Rombetsky that he shared on his social media.
No.
Guy was a fucking mess. Good lord.
Yeah.
Do we want to do a rating for this one, or does it warrant a rating?
You can do a rating. We do one for everything else.
All right. Who wants to go first?
I'll go. being it's out of the Apex, not bad. I'm gonna say a solid 6 out of 10. That's about, fight nights are more fun with the crowd, but like it also depends on the card quality. The prelims definitely help the main card, so yeah, 6 for me. 6 for me.
Okay, I'll jump in. I want to say when I give fights their rating, I think Lazy picks 5 as a dead average. 6 is kind of average for me. Probably based on dice rolls. Roll 2d10, you get 11 as an average. So yeah, 6 is an average for me, and that's exactly what this is. It's a solid 6. No fractions, just a solid 6.
Wow.
Prelims were better than the main for me. I enjoyed them more, I think. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's a straightforward 6.
Huh. I thought for sure there was a 0.25 or a 0.75 coming in there.
No. I guess I could knock it down to 5.75, bro. I've said
Oh,
6
no.
now, so we'll.
Yeah,
It
he's
wasn't
committing.
going above
He's
6,
committing.
I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, like you said, DM 5 is typically my average, or my median point. But this card was, like Austin mentioned, being in St. Louis, away from the Apex, some surprisingly fun results. No real shenanigans or malarkey to muck things up. And that crowd going fucking absolutely ham for their guy in New Mansa. They loved him down there in St. Louis. I'm going to go a little bit above average, and I'm also going to give, well, no, wait. If I give a 6, that's triple sixes. I'm going to do the DM here, and I'm going to give this a 6.25.
Ooh, that's the first. Lazy giving a score above me.
Yeah.
Making that.
Congratulations, St. Louis. You did it.
Yeah, two fat guys in St. Louis instead of the Apex.
Oh, that reminds me. I wanted to bring up something I said on the Discord last night. They managed to bring a little bit of the Apex with them to St. Louis. So
Yeah, I was gonna say.
just a little
God
bit.
forbid. Yeah.
Right, can I jump in with my little question here?
Yeah, go ahead.
We have, for the first time ever, a fan question to
Ooh.
new subscriber Ainsley Drew, who came along and joined us in the MK Discord as well after a chat at Luke's personal show. So yeah, Ainsley has asked, can we punt Henry Cejudo into the sun? And he'd like us to. She would like us to discuss that. So I've probably done more research on this than I have on the card, quite frankly.
Oh my God.
It might take a. Yeah, I mean, we'd need mechanical contraptions to get in there mechanically, but the fighter's best effort to get in there is how I've looked at it. And I have 3 options, and I'm only going to name 2 of them because I'll leave the last one for Lazy. And if he doesn't figure it out, that's his fault, not mine. So I think either Jose Aldo, because he has a footballing background, but my number 1 best option, how to redeem himself in my eyes, which will never be easy. Cyril Gann also has a football background. So, and I did look, there are no American footballers who were punt kickers in the UFC that I can find. So it has to be Cyril Gann. He's the biggest guy. He's an ex-soccer player. He might have taken some kicks at rugby as well. So yeah, there you go. Gann sticking his boot up Sahadu's arse and trying to get him into the sun. There you go. That's my answer, Ashley. Yes, we can.
I was just gonna double down on what DM said. Yeah, either Aldo or either Aldo or Gunn. But I want to see Aldo kill him at 135 because that would be fun.
I'm still over here trying to figure out what the hell DM was
Oh dear.
suggesting for me.
Set the clock going, Dave. Give him 30 seconds.
I really don't know. My first thought was maybe some sort of medieval catapult, just because I would like to see his tiny dwarven body hurling through the air.
I could look at that.
What would do I get a hint? Do I get a clue?
I can't give you a hint. It would make it too obvious.
Well, I guess I'm ass out here. I look like the idiot because I can't figure it out.
Sure, Uncle Kenny Florian, soccer player.
Oh my God.
I left him for you, and you ignored Uncle Kenny. I can't believe it,
What is
Lazy.
wrong with me? Former standout soccer star at Boston College.
Yeah,
that's right. I forgot about that.
Or
I told you I'd done more research for this than the card.
Oh my God.
I'll take any one of those options, honestly, as long as we get to see Henry get fucking kicked or
Yeah.
hurled or whatever.
Hey, that's why I said Aldo. Give him Aldo. Aldo
I
will
mean,
do it for us.
good luck though, because Henry's got a very large head, so I'm sure that thing's got a gravitational pull of its own there.
Yeah, I think that hair gives him a little extra, whiff.
Now we got to get this podcast to not only Jed Meshew, but we somehow got to get it in the hands of Henry Cejudo too.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, get him something to talk about. Oh, I don't know if you have something else, Lacey, but I wanted to say, pay our respects to our Jimerson.
yeah.
Yes, that's a perfect transition here because that is part of our closing segment here. A couple of tidbits here to toss in at the end. Still some bits and bobs worth mentioning. So I would like to wrap today's show with the return of a fan favorite segment. Yes, of course, I'm talking about Lazy's Leftovers. All right, so first off, it only took 4 years and the highest grossing US fight night of all time for Dana to finally come out and say, it's time to start getting away from the world's most famous Apex. Nearly 16,000 in attendance in St. Louis last night and a $2.5 million gate. So shout out to STL. But what do you guys think? Is it finally time or high time that we get away from the Apex?
Yeah, why not? Dana said it, so it must be true because, of course, he's never lied about anything. No, I mean, hey, it's only been fucking 4 years, eventually we were going to come back in. They were, the pioneer of powering through the pandemic because reasons. Yeah, I mean, if he says it and eventually they do more road shows as long as they make it make sense, I don't mind the Apex, just they shouldn't depend on only the Apex, That's it.
But you, DM, you think we're finally getting out of the Apex?
Yeah, I hope so. As you said, it was a temporary measure while we were under COVID. Everyone was very glad for it while COVID was going on. It got us fights. It made the UFC huge because they were the only people playing sport, really, well, doing any kind of sport at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I have my moments in the Apex. I don't mind it because of the quiet. You can hear the strikes landing. I've said it before. But yeah, get the show back on the road full time. Maybe the occasional one at the Apex.
Yep, I'd have to agree. I think that it served its purpose in its time, and it'll be fun to revisit every now and again. Because of, like you were saying, DM, it does have its slight charms in being able to hear the corners and hear the strikes. But I think it's really time to get this show back on the road and give some of these people in smaller towns that don't necessarily get the numbered events a chance to attend a UFC show and experience everything that comes with it in all its glory. So yeah, time to get the fuck out of the Apex.
Mm-hmm.
All
Yeah.
right. Moving on. Next topic for this Lazy's Leftovers. Happy Trails, Matt Brown. Hate him or love him, the Immortal has been a cornerstone in the UFC for many a year. One of the clubhouse leaders in knockouts, a fairly skilled guitarist, and a forthright individual. I'm trying to be nice here. So yeah, Matt Brown retired, guys. You got anything to say on this?
Mr. Fox, if you remember back a long time ago, 7-fight win streak, making his way to the title eliminator with or number one contender spot with Robbie Lawler, and he was on Fox I think 7 times in a row. If he wasn't the main event, he was on the main card or co-main, and that run was legendary because he was a guy. He was a guy who had died twice. Legitimately was brought back to life, and he was a staple for welterweight and still was. That man has done enough for the sport. I'm happy to see him go and do his own thing. Nothing but respect for me.
Yeah, same here. Really, he's been around a long time. He's given us some good fights. I know there was some controversy about his background and perhaps the people that he associates with, but I'm not one of the people that generally gets tied up in what fighters do away from the cage. So yeah, good luck, Matt Brown, I guess. I don't have anything particularly negative or massively positive to say. But yeah, an old staple. So yeah. Good luck on your next endeavors, Matt.
I had to show him a little love because he is a fellow Ohioan, so he's from the Buckeye State. He gets a little bit of credit from me. I would say that if he does decide he doesn't want to be done, he would be a good fit for BKFC. He's a stand-up guy, and he's a hardcore dude, tough individual. So if you're not done, go ahead and check out BKFC over there because that's where I send everybody.
They are, yeah.
The only thing they wish they would do
out by Chris Weidman, yeah.
Oh God. Well, I was gonna say the BKFC, if they allowed elbows, Matt Brown would fit in perfectly.
Yes. Okay, and final topic of this Lazy's Leftovers, a bit of a somber note. Austin, you touched on it previously, a rest in peace and a fond farewell to UFC pioneer One Glove Art Jimerson. Those of a younger generation may not be familiar with Art, so without going too much into detail, I'll just say that if it weren't for guys like One Glove having the grit and self-belief 30 years ago to step into a brand new game like the UFC and mixed martial arts, it's likely we wouldn't even be here and we wouldn't have this sport that we all love so much. So a true OG, and from what I've heard, an absolute mensch of a man. So thoughts and prayers to the family and a big RIP to Mr. Art Jimerson.
Yeah. Agreed. I'm trying not to think too much about it because it sucks, you know. I think we're at that point where we're in this sport long enough to watch some of the pioneers and heroes we loved and appreciate start passing away, and it sucks, you know. I heard some of the stories and I read some of the things that others had posted about him, and man was he was a good guy, and we don't get too many of those in the sport anymore. So my hat's off to him, and my prayers go out to him and his family.
Yeah, likewise. As you said, he was a pioneer. No one who has ever seen UFC 1 will ever forget the guy who stepped in with one boxing glove. And that was the crazy, obviously not the wisest idea, but it did create that viral moment, I suppose. Although the internet wasn't even really a thing when the UFC 1 came around. So yeah, sad loss. I did take a look at his boxing record. He wasn't the world's greatest boxer, but he was obviously a pretty solid one. But absolutely no hate on Art. You know, an unforgettable performance in the ring. Yeah, RIP. And best to your family and wife and everyone else who cares for you. I did see, I was just about to try and find it. I meant to save it beforehand. Someone did make the comment on the Discord that they followed a bunch of fighters and everything, and then he'd actually followed Art Jimerson. I think it was on Facebook, and Art Jimerson had sent him a message that meant a lot to him. I can't bring the clip up because I can't find it this quickly. But yeah, he said he was the only person that ever commented back to him from all the people he talked to. So that just shows you, he was a nice guy, I would say, on the whole.
Yeah. Stand up guy. So yeah, thoughts out to the family and prayers to everyone that was close to him, and fond farewell to one Art Jimerson. All right, so let's end this on a bit of a brighter and happier note. I do believe that's going to just about wrap up this episode, though. So all things considered, not the most terrible night of fights we've ever sat through, but don't speak too soon. We're back at the Apex next week for one of the worst cards of the year. Seem to be saying that a lot lately. But that means we will be right here, back next week, same bat time, same bat channel next Sunday. And if you haven't already, hit the like and subscribe on the way out. We appreciate every single one of y'all. For no special, Danger Mouse, Super Dave and Chaudhry, I'm Lazybed, and this has been the Weekend Roundup. Say goodbye, guys.
Later.
Austin being forgotten there.
It's fine. It doesn't matter. We're here. We did it. Yeah,
Fuck off.
Oh, fuck you, Dave.
I'm fucking not. Relax. Oh no.
I was getting emotional, damn you. Kick me while I'm down. I already had to change my thing to Jed Mashu. It can only take so much.
God.
All right, Laser, do you want to get us back on track? With time running on.
Yeah.